An Australian newspaper claims to have an intelligence dossier from what's known as the Five Eyes, the U.S. and its European allies' joint intelligence sharing group. Now, the document reportedly lays out the extent to which China's government covered up the true nature and extent of the coronavirus outbreak from its earliest days in Wuhan. This is a story that Fox News was first to break 2 weeks ago. Joining us is the president and CEO of the Center for Security Policy. He's also a former White House National Security Council Chief of Staff in the Trump administration, Fred Fleitz. Fred, thanks so much for your time today. I want to ask you first up about this dossier. It doesn't contain anything from what we can tell that's new, that goes beyond what Fox News has reported about what China knew and when, but it is, if verified, an important confirmation that other countries in the international community, the U.S.'s key allies, agree with us in terms of an assessment of what the Chinese government knew and when.
That's right, Julian. This is a joint intelligence assessment by 5 Western nations that closely cooperate on intelligence: the U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And you're right, there's nothing new in it. But what's significant here is that it helps us make the point that accusations that China is guilty of very serious misconduct, possibly criminal negligence in handling this virus, this is not congressional Republicans and President Trump saying that. There is a growing international consensus, not just that China mishandled this, but of serious Chinese wrongdoing, of the government retaliating against scientists and doctors who tried to warn about the seriousness of this virus in December of 2019, of destroying samples, of lying about human-to-human transition. And most important, and this is made in this document, that although the Chinese government shut down Wuhan in January 2020 to stop the virus from spreading across China, it did not cut off international air flights, which allowed this virus to seed itself around the world. And I think this is going to have a devastating effect on China's global reputation.
Yeah, and we now know that as a result of failing to shut down international travel during the earliest weeks of the outbreak, tens of thousands of potentially infected Chinese citizens from Wuhan traveled to other nations around the world, including the United States and Europe. Fred, what do you think now, when we look forward here, what do you think is the best way for President Trump's national security team to hold the Chinese government accountable? Is there a way to really do that?
Well, the president does not want to destroy relations with China. He would like to keep good relations and to protect the gains he's made in trade talks. But the evidence has become so overwhelming of misconduct by the Chinese government. The NSC right now is considering whether maybe we should push for reparations, whether we should let state and cities sue China, remove sovereign immunity limitations that would prevent that. I think we need to use this pressure to get China to cooperate in an international investigation of what happened at the virology labs in Wuhan, what happened at the wet markets, and agree to some type of international supervision of dangerous biological research.
Fred, in 5 seconds or less, can you tell us if you agree with the president's decision to cut off funding temporarily from the World Health Organization?
I think it was the right move, and it's having an effect. The World Health Organization is now asking for an international investigation of what happened in Wuhan, something that China is refusing to cooperate with.